Pokemon, an extremely iconic series that is known around the world. For example, one of Pokemon's greatest games, Pokemon Fire Red, the remake of the original, is a lot of people's favorite. So today, we're playing Pokemon Fire Red. So let's get into it. Yeah, this looks a little different than normal Fire Red. Let me explain, guys. Today, we're playing Dragon Ball Z Team Trading. And we're doing a nuzlocke. Here are the rules for people who don't know. Pause if you want to see them. We start by doing what every good son should do, and we talk to Mom before leaving the house. Then, when we try to leave the village, we get stopped by Dr. Briefs, who tells us that we're going to need a fighter if we want to go venture out there. So, we follow him to the lab, and we pick our starter, Goku, who we name Kakarot. Our rival picks Vegeta, and let's see how that goes. This is going to be a long run, isn't it? After that, which we will call the incident, we answer if we're a boy or a girl. We then proceed to name ourselves Super and trick Dr. Beast into believing his grandson's name is Balls. Yeah. After that, Balls goes on to complain about how he's named Balls, and eventually we pick our fighter. This time in the run, we decide to go with Gohan, who we are not naming because Gohan's the GOAT. Now let's get to the first fight. After beating up Balls, we make our way to Route 1, where we encounter a Pokestore clerk, who gives us an Onigiri, Dragon Ball Team Training's version of a potion, which will be useful to heal. We also encounter a bear thief, who we quickly teach how modern power scaling has ruined Dragon Ball in recent times. After beating up the bear thief, we then go on to meet a dying old man and head into the Pokemon, where the store clerk tells us that we have to go back and give Dr. Briefs a parcel for him. We then return to Dr. Briefs to give him the parcel, and after giving him the parcel, he tells us about how he has made a new invention, the Scouter, which will allow us to keep track of information of fighters that we have caught and seen in the wild. After this, Dr. Briefs gives us 5 capsules which we can use for capturing fighters. 5 capsules. Remember this now. Balls then tells us about how he's going to get a town map from his sister. So, logically, we go to his sister, and we get a map for ourselves, just to spite Balls, because fuck you, Balls, no one likes you. Once we receive the map, we make our way back to Route 1. Now that we have capsules, we will be able to capture our second fighter. Our first encounter is a Cyberman, fighter that is not on its own strong, but might be useful later on for HMs and TMs. So, we weaken it and attempt to catch it. I'm not gonna lie, I had already forgotten about eating the capsules from Dr. Briefs. With that out of the way though, we continue back on our journey, meeting the very plot-relevant old man once again, who tells us what the Scouter can do, even though it was already explained to us. From there, we make it into the North Forest, where we can encounter new fighters. Our first encounter in the forest here is a Tamboran, which for those of you who don't know and might be newer fans of Dragon Ball, he was introduced in the Demon King Piccolo arc, which is part of the original Dragon Ball series. And we quickly teach him as well what modern power scaling has done to Dragon Ball. Yeah, didn't go so well. After that encounter with Tamboran though, we pretty much steamroll most of the forest. Nothing eventful happens, we just fight trainers and Gohan half the time can one-hit who we fight. So, with that said, we move on to the next route. We then proceed to have another encounter right outside the forest, and this time, I do actually remember that we have capsules to catch him with. Turles is a Saiyan from the Tree of Might movie, which not many people might know about. He didn't really do much besides eating fruits and stuff, so after catching him, we decide to name him Apple, and we keep moving on. We then make it to the Saiyan realm. We also meet this kid who tells us that we have to fight the gym leader, Yajirobe. He then takes us to go to the gym, where we will be able to fight Yajirobe, the first gym leader on our quest to beat the game. So let's go inside and see how it goes. Inside, we faced our first real challenge for Gohan, Raditz. Raditz is a reason that Gohan has had trauma, having kidnapped him as a child and scarred him for life. So in this situation, what would Gohan do here? Yeah, so Gohan pretty easily actually steamrolled him. After that, though, we make it to the actual gym trainer, Yajirobe, who we had to face in a battle. Yeah, I'm not going to make the exact same joke here. Let's just keep moving on to the rest of the fight. After that, we steamroll him pretty easily, beat Nappa. He gives us a Saiyaman badge, and he gives us a TM with Energy Punch. And after we have defeated Yajirobe, we then are able to move on to the next route. After moving on from Yajirobe's gym, we make our way to Route 3, where nothing eventful really happens except for Gohan, our starter, evolving into Super Saiyan Gohan. Now, in Dragon Ball Team Training, a character's base stat total can be super high due to the power scaling in actual Dragon Ball, so this will be a major help that we will need. And little did I know at the time, but we would need this help very, very soon. Shortly after Gohan's evolution, we would then encounter a trainer known as Bug Catcher Gary, who would have the hardest challenge that Gohan would have to face for this first part of the run, a fight against Piccolo. Now, for those of you who don't know, Piccolo was the man who had trained Gohan as a kid. He had gone as far as to die for Gohan when he was a kid. And throughout everything, he had always grown alongside Gohan. So how would we overcome this? Yeah, so we pretty easily killed Piccolo with Kamehameha. After this, though, we would encounter in the grass a new addition to our team, Nappa, who we quickly caught and went on to name him Mr. Boom due to his techniques involving exploding things. We would then find ourselves making our way into Mount Moon. Inside Mount Moon, we would quickly encounter a new member of our team, Tien Shinhan, another character introduced in the original Dragon Ball saga. We named him Chaozu after his best friend and moved on. We quickly faced opposition though at Mount Moon, as we would encounter our first trainer that worked for the Pilaf gang, a team who was after the 7 Dragon Balls and we would have to stop. And once again, we were faced with our greatest threat yet, the man who had trained Gohan, the man who had died for Gohan and had always been there to grow alongside him. You know, I'm almost starting to feel bad for how often we make him kill Piccolo here. After fighting the Pilaf grunt, though, nothing that eventful happens in Mount Moon for a bit until we encounter this guy, the Ozaru. For those of you who don't know, an Ozaru is a Saiyan transformation, but more importantly, monkey. After encountering the monkey, we would then find a scientist who was guarding this Dragon Ball, which he had wanted for himself. Fortunately for him, though, we wanted the Dragon Ball. At the same time, I was working on training our Chaozu, but due to him being half HP in the same level as who we had to fight, I knew what I had to do. We once again would have to make Gohan face the man who had trained him. Oh, I guess he really just doesn't care anymore. After this, the scientist was basically willing to just give us the Dragon Ball. So, we made ourselves a way out of Mount Moon. Once outside of Mount Moon, we then arrived in Namek Town. While we were there, we healed our Pokemon, and we head back to the route to see what we can now encounter. Kind of ironic finding him here, isn't it? As ironic as it may be to encounter Piccolo here, though, we do end up catching him, making him the 5th addition to our team. And I think, personally, that makes up for all the Piccolos that we have made our Gohan kill up to now in the name of complaining the Nuzlocke. We then proceed to name Piccolo, and we give him the name Goku, because he's more of a father to Gohan than Goku ever was. Well, now with all that being said and done, that's where I had to end the first part of the Nuzlocke. Sorry I couldn't get farther into it. I was on a tight schedule when I was recording it, but I still wanted to record some of it and do it for you guys. So, if you did like it, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe if you want to. But, yeah, I'll see you guys next time.